For Algebra 1, Final Exam Review Packet, we're going to go through the first review. So review number 1. The first half of the test is your open response. So for this one, number 1, we have to solve the equation by clearing the fraction. And so the first thing I want to do is I want to find a common denominator. So 2 and 3 are my denominators. If I multiply those together, I get 6. And so I can place the 6 above every term. Then I would divide these and get 3x. And then I would multiply 6 and 4 and get 24. 6 and 5 would be multiplied to be 30. And then I can divide these and get 2x. Now, to solve, I want to subtract the 2x from both sides. And this would give me 1x plus 24 equals 30. Now we have a two-step equation. So first I want to subtract the 24 from both sides. And I have 1x equals 6. And then I can divide by that 1 and see that my answer will still be 6. 6 divided by 1 is 6. In number 2, we have a compound inequality. This is an and. To get the x by itself there in the center, I'm going to go ahead and draw my two lines from the inequalities. And if this was a regular two-step inequality, I would subtract 4, and then I would divide both sides by 2. Well, I'm going to do the exact thing, but I'm also going to do it to the negative 12. So first, I subtract 4. And this gives me a negative 16. And then 2x. And then 10 minus 4 is 6. Last, I divide all sections by 2, since that's in front of x. If I divide, we get negative 8, less than or equal to x, less than, and divide again, we get 3. For number 3, at Monroe Reservoir, it costs $20 per hour plus a $150 deposit to rent a pontoon boat. Write an equation that describes the cost C for renting a pontoon boat at the lake for T hours. Okay, so first we know that we have to set this equal to our total cost. Secondly, it tells us $20 per hour. That's saying 20 times T, so 20T, plus that 150 deposit, so plus 150. Then it says, if you end up spending $400, for how many hours did you rent the pontoon boat? So the $400 represents your money, your cost, how much it cost you to go onto the pontoon boat. And so I'm going to plug that in for this C. And then I have 20T plus the 150. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract the 150 from both sides. And this gives me 250. My goal is to get T by itself. So I'm going to divide both sides by 20. And I'm going to get a decimal. And that decimal will be 12.5 hours. So they were out on the boat for 12.5 hours. Number 4, we have to complete the table. So we know that we have 4 blanks here. So we're going to have 4 math problems. We have also discussed several times that we know that f of x just means that it's the function y. Okay? So you have this equation, y equals 3x plus 4. The 0, I see that it's in the x column, so I'm going to plug it in for x. So 3 times 0 plus 4. So 3 times 0 is 0, and 0 plus 4 is 4. Okay? Then for b, I see that we have 1, and that's in the y column. So here's your equation again. I need to plug the 1 in for y. So I do this by subtracting 4. That gives me a negative 3. And then I divide both sides by 3 and get negative 3 divided by 3 is negative 1. So go back and fill in your table. Okay, letter C, I still write down my equation, y equals 3x plus 4. Letter C, I have negative 2. Negative 2 is in the x column. So I put 3 times negative 2 plus 4. This becomes negative 6. And negative 6 plus 4 is negative 2. Letter D. Again, we have our equation y equals 3x plus 4. We know that 7 is given to us, and it's in the y column. So I plug 7 in for y. And then to get the x, I solve. So I subtract 4. This gives me 3. And then to solve for x, I divide both sides by 3. And x would just be 1. 3 divided by 3 is 1.